2, 3, 4. Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week. Don't gotta wait long for the next one to release. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat, enjoy Midweek Motivation with John and Carly. Hey.
Midweek Motivation.
Let's go! There we are. Look at us. We're here. We're live. What is up, Midweek Motivation crew, for another week? And I got good news. Here's the good news. I got notes this week.
Yeah.
That's good news for everybody, especially for the people that have to listen to us.
I think last week's episode was still really good.
I think it was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know if episodes aren't like kids. You can pick a favorite, right? I mean, I pick a favorite kid every once in a while.
I don't have a favorite kid.
Come on now. You know, we need to go down to the altar.
The most like you.
Oh my!
That's the favorite kid.
No, that is
like
not my favorite kid.
That's not often. Every once in a while.
That's the one that I want to punch the most.
He's definitely the one that deserves to get punched the most.
Look, the other day, something was happening, and I said something about, if you do that, I'm going to punch you. Yeah. And Connor started this weird
you just
told
us who it was.
Yeah. He started
come on,
doing
everybody knows.
Weird fake crying.
Yeah.
And Hannah says, Connor, has your dad ever punched you? And he's like, no. I was like, has your dad ever wanted to punch you?
Yeah, that's a different story. That's 100% a different story.
Yeah.
I'm checking. Okay.
Hey, what do you have pulled up over there?
I got it all. We're good.
Oh.
You do your thing.
Hey.
You just sit there and look pretty. I got you taken care of.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Listen,
like you always do.
I was pulling up at the last minute and a half on the countdown, coming up the stairs, working on a new stage design.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like it. Well, don't give it away.
I'm not.
Well, give it away to me later. But
Richard came and met with me, and just the creative juices just started flowing.
That's where he ended up.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm going to the cafe. I'll be right back."
Yeah. He ended up in my office, and
I should have known. Well, hey, thanks for joining us another week of Midweek Motivation. If you're not already in our group and subscribe, we'd love for you to subscribe. You can text the word motivate to that number on the screen.
Hey,
540.
we picked up a couple people last week. I think 2 people texted motivate last week. Sorry, I interrupted your
That's
number.
okay.
Can
I was
you say
about
the
to
number
do it
again.
I was doing really great. So thanks for interrupting that. That was awesome. I was killing it too. But you can text the word motivate to 540-900-3838. 900. See how I enunciated that? Not 900, right? You know, I feel like I gotta explain that joke because I feel like people don't understand that joke. So
Yeah, because I don't say it anymore.
sometimes a little South Carolina comes out, and get a little 900.
900.
900. Can you spell that for us?
No.
No.
We can't spell in South Carolina. What are you talking about?
That's all right. I can't spell when I put things. I can't spell the word gratitude. You know how many times I typed it wrong? Hannah walked past my desk and looked at it. She said, "You spelled gratitude wrong." And I looked at it. Oh, it's got too many T's. And then I
Put 2 T's.
I put 2 T's. I think I put two. Gratitude, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Let me know in the chat if that's right.
Gratitude.
But I put an extra T in it.
G-R-A-T.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was in the worst possible spot to try to fix. So I had to go back, redo the video, remake that graphic, and it was awful.
It worked, though.
Yeah, so
speaking of which,
always have somebody spell check your stuff.
that is on YouTube now.
That is on YouTube?
It is from a few Sundays ago. It's Gratitude, featuring me and Alan Scott from Story Tour, sharing.
It doesn't say featuring Carly. It says featuring
It definitely says featuring Alan Scott. But I like that you slid your own feature in there.
I had to put myself in there because somebody forgot me.
I'll work on putting the right credits in there. Because you're part of Parkway Worship. It's Parkway Worship featuring Alan Scott.
I couldn't resist the opportunity. But yeah, go check it out. Share it with your friends and family. It was a very powerful moment in our service a few weeks ago. And hopefully we'll have some more really awesome testimonies that we found out coming out of that. Man, it is so cool to see God just connect the dots in so many different things. that testimony we heard yesterday, I'm not going to spoil it for you because we're going to do a show on it some way or another. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. It might be a field trip day for us.
Yes. Ooh,
Field trip day?
Yeah,
good idea.
we may take
Ooh.
midweek on the
Midweek.
road for that testimony. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, thank you. I have my moments.
Every once in a while. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Shut up. That's what my dad used to tell me all the time. It was good. Speaking of things coming up, we're going on the road. Sounds like eventually at some
Yeah.
point.
Maybe next month. We'll
Breaking news. Also coming up this Sunday is Father's Day. So, Carly, when I forget, happy Father's Day.
It's okay.
We've got a special gift for all you fathers that come to church on Sunday. I should have grabbed one. I didn't think about it. We got a whole bunch of them. Cassidy and I moved them all into another room the other day. But we've got, let's see, there's steak sauce. There's some hot sauce.
It's a
and some
is it
steak
a-
season.
The steak sauce is it chipotle? Is it a chipotle?
It's a
steak?
chipotle steak sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. It smelled really good.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet. Although John and I were talking about that.
Oh,
like,
dude, we should have got some and sampled it on the show today.
I mean,
Maybe Austin can bring some up.
Austin, are you watching?
He's supposed to be here.
Austin is busy being a hardworking pastor.
Yeah, I think he's in a meeting that was running long. It's all good.
That's good. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess we're doing our job.
This
Do
is
you
our
know
job.
where it is?
Probably not. Austin, it's in 207 if you're watching.
Or Hannah, if you're watching.
Yeah, Hannah, if you're watching and you want to bring us something.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you what's in what boxes. But anyways, that's coming up Father's Day. That's the 16th. So ladies or gentlemen, I guess, if you were looking for something or trying to remember like when Father's Day is, this is your reminder.
Yeah.
Get something for the men in your life who are fathers. Or maybe physical fathers or spiritual fathers, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Make sure you celebrate them. And I'm just going to tell you, what works for all of us is meat.
Yeah. Oh, you can't
Right.
you can't go wrong with that.
Now, maybe not, right? I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, go ahead and put in the chat what the right thing to get for a father is.
I think meat is great.
John Brunk says 900.
900.
That's about right. John, I'm pretty sure there's 2 T's and 2 N's in it too.
Yeah.
But that's about right.
100.
But that's coming up this Sunday for Father's Day. So we do have a gift for everybody that comes up 9 or 10:30 right here at Parkway. So we'd love to invite you to be a part of that as well.
We're going to have some. So we're going to do a throwback because last year was so great. We're going to show the dad jokes from last year. They we thought about making another one, and honestly, just didn't have the time. If you hear the chaos behind us, if you hear all these voices and all, we have the Virginia Church of God camp meeting happening. I had to really think through that.
You got it. That was perfect.
They're here this week, bringing in a crowd. Great services so far. But yeah, I don't even know why I was saying that. What was I saying?
Something about Father's Day.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about Father's Day.
Oh yeah, dad jokes. So we didn't really have a whole lot of time to record some more, but man, I've watched the ones from last year 20 times in the past few days. It's going to be a treat again, especially the highlight joke toward the end. And I'm going to tell you absolutely nothing about it.
Nothing else other than what he's already given away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. It'll be a good service. There's something special happening in the service as well. We've got a special little ensemble, and I won't spoil that too much.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be sweet, I hope.
Make sure you're here, tuned in online, be here in person if you can. So, but make sure you celebrate those fathers on Father's Day this Sunday. Courtney asked me yesterday. She's like, "What do you want me to make for Father's Day on Sunday?" I was like, "I don't know, like meat, like whatever you want to make." And she's like, "Well, do you want me to get you steaks and you'll grill it?" I was like, I love steak, but I don't want to do anything.
Right.
I want to sit in my chair and do nothing on Father's Day.
I want to sit in my chair and nap. I mean, no different than any other day, but
That sounds about right.
yeah,
That's
just
pretty
Father's
solid.
Day makes it a little specialer.
Yeah, you get to take that special Father's Day
Don't feel
nap.
guilty about taking naps.
I never feel guilty about taking a
Let
nap.
me tell you, moms feel guilty about taking naps.
They do.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Mother's Day, I couldn't kick Courtney out of the kitchen. She kept popping in and trying to help and do things. Get out of here.
Yeah.
any other day, like, I'm more than happy to let you do your thing. That's fine. But today, like, my dad and I got this. We are not as inept as we seem.
As of right now, we have no plans for Father's Day, and I'm totally okay with that.
Doesn't that sound nice? Like, let's sit around and not do anything.
Yep, I'm totally okay with it.
That's fantastic. Well, that's coming up this Sunday. That's probably enough Father's Day talk.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the month, right? There's some fun things happening in between there too.
Pretty cool thing at the end of the month.
There's a pretty cool thing at the end of the month. Our Summer Bash, June the 30th. Summer Bash, is that right?
Yeah,
Summer Bash is right. If I was better at this, we'd have it like thrown up there. That way I'd say it right. But just imagine it. But if you go to
It's on the website.
parkroanoke.com, it's on the website there. You can see that. That's June the 30th, our Summer Bash. We are having a pig picking.
In a way, yes.
In a way, yeah.
We're having a cook-off.
We're having a
pit
cook-off.
master competition. Then we're gonna eat that food.
See, pig picking might have been the early planning stage.
I think it was, and then we decided we would do a pit master competition. Now I know John Brunk is in it. If I can somehow talk Hannah into getting me a smoker, I'll be in the competition. Hannah, if you're listening, smoker.
Sounds like a great Father's Day present.
She's already got me a gift, and she already gave it to me, and it is amazing.
And it's not a smoker.
It's not a smoker, but I mean it holds all of my grilling utensils, and it's customized, engraved, like wood hook system thing.
Hey.
Pretty sweet.
Fancy.
Maybe that was just part one to hang all the stuff that I'm going to use on my smoker.
Now you need the smoker.
I don't
This
know.
was just a hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to
Thinking
throw you
about
off.
this now.
If she was getting me a smoker, I would know by now because she can't keep a secret. So, but yeah, so I think we still have a few spots open for that. So if you are interested in being in that, I think there is a button you can press at parkwayroanoke.com/summerbash.
And if there's not, there should be.
Yeah.
We should talk to the guys
And
that make that.
And I think what we're doing there is I think you get 2 pork butts. Like the church gives you 2 pork butts for you to cook however you want. And then I'm hoping I'm one of the judges.
I think I volunteer to be a judge.
Yeah.
Can you volunteer to be a judge? That seems like a thing I should do.
I think that's a good thing.
That seems right.
Is it up there, Megan? Megan's checking.
Yeah. Enter pit master contest.
Look at me doing my job.
And there's also sign up for baptisms.
Oh,
for that
yes.
day, too.
That is
So,
outdoor baptisms.
Yeah.
That's always one of our biggest baptism times. You're gonna want to be here for that. And if you want to be baptized, we have baptism class on the 26th, I think it is.
That sounds right.
And then we'll baptize you outside after second hour among all the activities going on. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a summer bash.
a good one.
It is going to be a summer bash. Outdoor baptisms, that's probably the part I'm looking most forward to. I'm looking forward to all the meat. But I'm most looking forward to the outdoor baptisms because there's something special about, one, just baptizing people, right? But the cool thing is, especially the way we're going to do it, outdoors, in the tank, and you're going to have all these people gathered around, right? I like it because then they get to be a whole lot closer than we do when we do it, up here in the house. It's so far away. But I think it's going to have this real nice community church feel. And, I'm looking forward to that. So if you're interested in baptism, you can go to parkwayroanoke.com/baptism. You can sign up there, or you can go to parkwayroanoke.com/whatever the events page for the summer bash
Summer
is.
bash.
You can just
Summer
go to Summer Bash, parkwayroanoke.com/summerbash. It's
at
also
that.
down on the lower part of the homepage.
100%. You can find it all. So
Yeah.
make sure you're part of that. Tune in to that service as well, online or in person if you can make it. But I don't think we get to do the smoking contest over the internet. I think it'd be a hard thing to participate in.
But if you want to smoke some meat and send us a picture of you celebrating with us wherever you're at. I know we have. I think last week we had people in 17 different states. Over the entire month, we've had people watching from about 25, 30 different states. So if you want to be a part of these things, just kind of. I hate to say it, but kind of do your own thing and just celebrate with us and send us pictures, and we'll share those things. We want to try to connect with our online community and our distant community as much as we can. In fact, right now, I think we should start a summer campus in Myrtle Beach because every week there's like 10 or 20 people watching online from Myrtle Beach. So
Really?
I think we should volunteer to
They're
go lead it.
vacationers.
Yeah, so next summer I'm going to be the Parkway in the Sand campus pastor.
I like that. We'll just put that out there. We'll write you a title and, throw it up there. Be fine.
Well, that is kind of where you come from, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'd be
So,
close to my family and get to do church. Yeah,
we'll be there in August.
yeah. We'll see if you can find out who else is there, and we'll
Do a little
do our launch.
service together.
Yeah, our first launch of Parkway in the Sand.
Well, speaking of
You've
summer,
heard it first here.
right? Yeah, breaking news right here. Speaking of summer, I wanted to kind of continue a little bit of our conversation from last week, and because there's a whole lot more to it than what we even got into,
Yeah.
right? And probably one of my favorite episodes. I'm just gonna say it's one of my favorite episodes I've ever
it was
done.
a good one.
Great discussion. We had a lot of fun, and then we got into a really great discussion too. And it's no coincidence that John Brunk was on.
Yeah,
So the bunch of Brunks.
the bunch
I
of
can't
Bronx.
remember who said that.
We got to create that graphic.
We could probably.
The bunch of Bronx.
Yeah, John will put it on a hat for me.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, he
that.
sent me a hat. Maybe he'll customize it for me and y'all see it. It's pretty sick nasty. I love it.
But we started
Sorry.
talking about seasons last week, and Trevor, I'm just gonna apologize for calling you out accidentally on the show, making fun of you. I was probably a little too harsh.
He's like, hey, I'm pretty sure that was me.
I was a little too harsh, but Trevor's a tough guy. He can handle it. Look,
He is a tough guy.
everybody's got a favorite season, and that's okay, right? Some people's favorite season is winter, right? And I'm convinced, and so we talked a little bit about this in staff meeting this week, and I'm convinced that people whose favorite season is winter, the majority of them, have never lived in a state where
You're
winter
treading very
actually
lightly
exists,
this week compared
right?
to how it like you were basically like if winter is your favorite season, you're stupid. And this
I've
week,
been
you're
in a lot of
treading
church
lightly.
these past couple days. I've been in church many times these past couple days with the Church of God camp meeting here, so I'm a little more holy today. But yes, look, I apologize. Right, if winter is your favorite season, you are not stupid, and I did not say that. Right. But I just think you haven't experienced real winter, right? So I grew up in a place where there's real winter,
Yeah.
right? Like we could spit on Canada, right? Not that we ever tried, and not that we ever would, but I grew up in a place where winter exists, right? And winter is not my favorite season. Now I like the snow, right? Can I tell you what I love about Virginia? You get about 2 weeks of winter because you can actually have snow in Virginia. Not all the time, not for like 2 years. But then it's gone.
Yeah.
You get snow and then it melts.
We had a little bit last year.
We did get a little bit last year. Not enough to build a snowman. Enough that my kids rode down the sled like face first in our backyard.
It was
and
enough for people
almost
to
lost the face.
snowboard down the backside of the mountain here.
And
Crazy.
They built ramps. Do you see the ramp
Yes,
they built?
with a table.
Yeah, they found a table.
Oh,
Don't know
Yes.
where they found
like
a table.
folding table and made a ramp out of it. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was something.
I think we charge admission this year.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Like at the bottom of the hill. Like
Yeah,
we just
sounds great.
and then you sign a waiver too because there is like 8 billion manholes down that hill. Like
And rocks, too.
Yeah,
lots of
There's
rocks.
Trenches at the bottom.
brave people or dumb.
Now who's calling people dumb? I ain't calling people dumb. But we talked about seasons. We talked about it in staff meeting. We talked about it last week. And I wanted to kind of continue that conversation because after staff meeting, Megan and Austin and I were having an extended conversation. And we kind of came at it from a little bit different perspective than, what I even thought about. So I wanted to kind of continue a little bit of that. And we talked last week about Ecclesiastes 3, and I didn't even catch this. I was going back through Pastor's notes on Sunday. Pastor actually hit Ecclesiastes 3. Ecclesiastes.
Making up new books
3.
now?
Yeah, we add some. Hezekiah, Third Hesitations, all of those good ones, right? Ecclesiastes 3:6. Pastor actually hit that, and it was actually part of a sermon series, and I thought when I read this yesterday, I thought he would have picked up the like, hey, I said that. No, he didn't.
I just had a flashback to our social media team meeting last week. So
Oh,
let me
missed that one.
let me tell this real quick because it was quite funny. We were talking about posting a scripture, and I was like, oh, man, we should post James 4:7. Like, it just sounds right. And they're like, okay, you just throwing scripture out. I was like, yeah, I feel like I read it or heard it or something today. And so Steffi makes the post for that, and we're like, almost at the end of the meeting, and Cassidy stands up. She's sitting across from me. She's like, "Bro, James 4:7 is on your shirt." And I'm like, "I told you guys I read it somewhere." It was right there, plain as day on my shirt. And like, here we were thinking like you were just super spiritual, quoting scripture. No, it's on your shirt.
Nope. Yep. Just incepted right into your brain.
It was
right there.
hilarious. Bro, it's on your shirt. And like, I'm like, what did I spill?
Yeah, those meetings are.
There's something.
Takes us a while to get going.
We get a lot accomplished, and not much of it is social media.
It was a lot of fun and some good food too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to have those meetings at Famous Anthony's more often.
Yeah, that's normally our
Oh,
go-to.
I missed it.
Yeah, you missed
Famous
Famous Anthony's.
Yep.
this time.
You missed it this time. Shouldn't have went on vacation.
That was a good one. But yeah, Pastor read that verse, and I didn't realize it till this morning. I was finishing putting the notes together and checking some of his stuff, and like he read that verse for us. Like it was part of that. So
Yeah.
that worked out great that it worked in there. But Ecclesiastes 3 is what we talked a little about last week, and we're not going to reread the whole thing, but we talked Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 11. If you're interested in hear that whole conversation, you can go back a week and listen to that if you haven't already. But we won't read it. But the verse that Pastor read was 3:6. Says a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away. And he gave this really cool illustration about this little girl. It's actually, there's a video of it up on our socials as well you can check out, but this girl who got her hand stuck in this vase, right? So she's got her hand in the vase, and it's a $20,000 vase, or if you say it like Pastor says, it's a vase. Actually, I think after a certain price point, I think you have to say vase. It's a vase, not a vase, right?
Yeah.
Like
I've
I have
never called it
vases
a
in my
vase.
house.
We
I
get
have a couple of vases in my house.
We get our vases from Dollar Tree.
Right? Yeah, that's a vase, right? Now this vase.
What is it, Megan?
right?
You were interior
That's true. You're the
designer.
professional.
What, is it a vase or a vase, or is it at a price point? Or is it
don't know.
just depending upon where you live?
I was listening to that. A vase, I guess, automatically makes it expensive. I don't know what the price point would be, but I've never called it that. I've always said a vase, but
Where
it
do
was
you-
clear
where
the
do you get
message he
your-
was trying to say is vase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do
It's
you get your
high-end.
Where do you get your vases at?
I would say like TJ Maxx.
Yeah. So
That's
that's a vase.
That's my level.
Yeah, that's a
So where
TJ
do you-
Maxx is a vase.
Where do you go to get a vase?
There's a place down in Grandin. It's an interior shop, and they have like these nice vases in the window. So I would say you're probably gonna have to go to a more high end place.
So if
to
you're
get, like,
if you're a
but
TJ Maxxer, you're a
$20,000,
vaser.
I don't know.
TJ Maxx, you're a vaser. If
That's
you
like
go to the place in
$19.99.
Grandin, you're a vaser.
There you go.
Man,
I am no longer welcome on this
we
show.
were on a roll. We were doing
He's
so
in an
well.
interesting mood today.
He is. He didn't even come to church this morning. I thought he came.
I slept late today. That's what it is.
That must be it. You didn't even go to gym this morning?
No, I did not. I'm going when I leave. Yeah, when I say I slept, like I don't sleep past 6 o'clock, and
I know, because you usually text me at some point.
yeah, it was like 8:15 when I was rolling out of bed. Yeah, that's huge for me. Yeah, so
well,
that's
no
what's
more.
wrong, and no more.
No more on Wednesdays, at least. You better get up early on Wednesdays. But anyways, where were we? Oh, we were at vases.
Yeah.
Pastor was giving this illustration about this little girl who gets her hand stuck in this $20,000 vase, and they try everything to get it out, and eventually they can't get it out, so they have to break the vase. Right, $20,000 vase, and then the vase breaks, and then you find out that she's making a fist inside. She finally opens her fist, right? Pastor told it a lot better. Go back and watch it. Pastor told it better than I did. Opens her fist, and she's holding on to a penny, right? That has nothing to do with anything. It's just a cool, just a cool illustration that Pastor gave. So you should go back and watch that. It's great. That video it's up on Facebook, Instagram. It's on all those things as well. That's a little clip as well. But Pastor didn't hit on this, but everything has a season, right? Everything in our life has a season.
Yeah.
After our conversation yesterday, or what's today, Wednesday? So that was Monday. After our conversation Monday, I started thinking about, people in the Bible who went through different seasons. And last week we talked about Paul a little bit and all the seasons that he went through. And we read through Ecclesiastes, and, obviously Solomon went through some seasons and saw some of those things. And I was thinking about Joseph, right? If that's a dude that didn't go through some seasons, right? You talk about a roller coaster. That's a dude. So I was thinking through this morning a little bit of what kind of seasons did he actually go through? Because I'm a person, I got to see it, right? I can't just hear it and think about it. I gotta write it out, draw it out, whatever. So listen to this. So these are some of the seasons that Joseph went through. All right. He was his father's favorite son. Now, that's a good season.
Right.
Right? That's a place to be, right?
Living the dream.
And then he became a slave.
Not living the
Kind of
dream.
the other way,
Right.
right? Kind of the opposite.
Went
Not such a
backwards.
great season, right? Little less great. Then, right, he becomes the favorite servant in Potiphar's house, right? He's like number one servant, like chef's kiss, way to go, right? And then he becomes a wrongly accused prisoner.
Yep.
Right. This starts in like Genesis 37, and there's a whole lot of chapters that where Joseph goes through. But so you can read it and flip through it all. Joseph there's a good amount about Joseph in the scriptures there. So he's a wrongly accused prisoner, right? So he gets thrown back in jail. Right. And I would say that's a pretty negative season,
Yeah.
right? Then he interprets a dream, and then waits a couple years, right, sitting in prison after the good thing he does. Which is a whole nother message, but that's something else. And then he works his way up, becomes second in command over all of Egypt. Now that's a pretty good season, right? Mm-hmm. And then something cool happens even beyond that, right? He gets reunited with his family, right? His family comes to live with him. He has a little bit of fun with his brothers,
Yeah,
right? Which is
yeah.
every little brother's dream.
That's one of my favorite parts. I'm like, I envision it happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the interesting thing is, right, so good seasons, bad seasons, all those things. Even going into like the next good season, right? It's not necessarily, this is kind of what you brought up the other day. It's not necessarily always going from good season to bad season to good season to bad season, right? Sometimes, and I think we can see it here in Joseph's life, like sometimes it's good season to good season, right? To good season. And sometimes, even though it's a good season, we don't always recognize it as a good season.
Yeah.
Right? And seasons, I think, this is kind of what you shared with me the other day, is that seasons aren't necessarily good or bad. Like, sometimes they're just different.
Yeah.
That's kind of the conversation we were having. And I'm curious to hear from you guys, too. Have you guys, like, kind of caught yourself doing that? Like, your life is changing. It's not necessarily a bad change, but you kind of struggle with it. You ever seen that?
Yeah. Yeah. And the biggest thing is it's just different. Mm-hmm. We as individuals, we as humans, we like our comfort. And when seasons change, there's that uncomfortability. It's uncomfortable. Yeah. Yes, that thing.
That,
English is not working today. What I think about is mainly like when you're in those in-between seasons, when the seasons, like weather-wise, is changing, there's confusion. Mm-hmm. You don't know, should I wear a hoodie today or should I wear shorts today? Mm-hmm. You don't know if I should wear socks and shoes or flip-flops. And some people wear flip-flops year-round, my wife included. It's in those changing of seasons. Mm-hmm. It's not so much the seasons, but it's in the changing of seasons that is the most uncomfortable situation because there's that confusion. Like, okay, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yes, seasons change, but watch yourself when the seasons are changing because I think that'll define the next season more so than the actual season. Does that make sense? Sounded much better in my head.
Well, and sometimes, this is what I was telling him, a season can be abrupt. You don't even hardly have time for the transition between seasons because it just abruptly changes. So, and then if you're not, we have this thing in missions, it's called a debrief. You have a day out in the field, and then you're like, if you don't go to the next day without debriefing, then you can't process what happened the day before, which is going to affect in the next day.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with seasons. If you have like an abrupt change, or maybe you had a little trauma, or it's something super different in your life, if you don't debrief it, like if you don't have a time to process the other season, then you get to the next season and you're like, okay, what does this look like? And you're trying to figure out that season, and you never had time. Excuse me. Time to process the season before. And that can affect your next season and how you see it and how you remember the last season. And so processing is important.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, and that's not just in seasons. I was just talking with Austin. I wish he was on the show, was able to be on the show today. We were talking about even middle school ministry, and Austin is always trying to find ways, like, to not just make it programming, but to make it something deep, to make it something internal, to make it something eternal.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he and one of his leaders, I want to say, might have been talking with Brad Collins or Lincoln, they were saying, man, get the kids a notebook. And then at the end of the message, break off into groups and debrief. You know, it's like that with seasons, but it's also like that with information. You know, I've heard several pastors, and I have to take notes. Like that's how I process. But I've heard some pastors say, don't even take notes because you're not going to read them later anyways. And, you know, how guilty are we of that, of taking like these great notes and never revisiting them?
Yeah.
How many times do we go through those seasons and never revisit them? How many times do we go through those things and experience those encounters or those moves of God, and we never process it? That's where, when we get to the next season, we're jacked up because we don't even know, we can't fathom what's taking place because we haven't processed the seasons.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not a psychologist or counselor, but I mean, in a lot of situations, you have to grieve that last season, right? I mean, in the same way you grieve the death of a relationship or, you know, death of a loved one, like there are times where you need to grieve that. And
Grieving is healing.
and that's the thing that I think it's one of those things we try to avoid, right? Because it sounds like grieving is like that time where I'm just going to cry all the time and, you know, be sad. It's not grieving. Grieving is not just sadness. Like it's processing, right? And it's that natural part of how we debrief and how we move forward, right? And how we say goodbye to that last season and move into a new one, right? Never in Scripture, I'm pretty confident saying this, like never in Scripture does God call people to stay exactly where they are all the time, right? Everything is progress and moving forward and change, right? Nothing is static in Scripture, right? Except God. Right, because God doesn't progress. God is God, right? And I think that's the challenging thing. Like think about a job, right? John Brunk just said, you know, 5 years ago he was laid off, right? Man, I'm going to tell you, I don't know, maybe the ladies feel the same way. As a husband and a father, when you don't have a job, especially if it wasn't your choice, right? Man,
it's tough.
That's a tough place to be.
It's tough.
Right? I mean, that's something, and gentlemen, help me out here. That's something that attacks your self-worth. That attacks everything. Right?
And I'm going to tell you, in those seasons, the enemy is like, oh, I got him. I got him. And you got to be careful. You have to be 100% careful.
And I think, too, and we'll go down this rabbit trail a little bit. I think that's a time, not only does the enemy start to go after you, but he starts to isolate you.
Yes.
Right? Because now you're out of your regular routine. You're out of the, seeing the people that you saw all the time. And what you start to do is you start to go down this little spiral, right? Where, like, I don't have any value. Nobody wants me at home, right? Nobody wants me at work.
Yeah.
Right? You start going down that spiral, right? And at the end of the day, if you think about it, it's just a job.
Yeah.
Which, man,
doesn't define who you are.
Right. And so, man, like this could, maybe we should continue this part into next week. So many people are defined by their job. So many, I think I'm okay in maybe saying a little bit of this. There's several pastors, very, very close to me, who their identity is so much in their ministry that I'm scared for them when they reach the point of retirement. I'm scared for who they are outside of here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the early nature of ministry for pastors was like, man, they're paying me to be there. I got to be there.
Yeah.
And it's still the mentality of some people like, what are we paying you for if you're not here? But even when it comes to like being a manager or, being a coach, while that is the area that God has gifted you in, that is not your identity. Your identity is not found in a job or a task. Your identity is found in Christ.
Yeah.
And the sooner we can figure that out, regardless of what season we are in, the sooner we can figure out what our identity is in Christ, the sooner we'll realize that's just a job.
This is I listen to this podcast every morning. It's a devotional by David Platt.
Oh, it is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
It's
So
hard to go
good.
wrong with David Platt.
Yes.
Pray the Word with David Platt. I recommend it to everybody.
Absolutely. I second
So,
that.
This morning it was from Isaiah 44:5, a godly identity.
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
It's exactly what we just talked about. And I don't know, we can go to that Isaiah 44.
For the record, that's totally a God thing because I have never heard of that podcast before.
Oh man, it is. I listen to it on my walks from time to time.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with David Platt.
Yeah, David Platt's the man. We just finished Job with David Platt in
Yeah.
our small group.
Jonah.
Yes,
Jonah. That one too. Yeah.
Jonah. Yeah.
Yeah. Spoiler
Well, so
alert.
somebody mentioned Job at the end of it. Like,
Right.
we should do Job next.
Oh gosh, that's gonna take forever.
We're not. We're
Okay, good.
we're gonna do Rooted.
I missed that. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I knew that. The
What you got,
spoiler alert.
Megan? Go ahead. Spoiler.
Jonah is not about the fish.
Yes, it is
It's about
not.
so much.
It's like the
So-
tiniest part of
Right,
that book of the
right.
Bible.
What's it say, Megan?
So Isaiah 44:5 says, "This one will say, I am the Lord's. And that one will call on the name of Jacob, and another will write on his hand, belonging to the Lord." So basically, I guess he's just saying this one, that one, they will say this, but in general, it's I am the Lord's.
Yeah. Hey,
Write
Megan.
it on your hand, you see it every
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
I thought of like, that's like getting a tattoo. I am the Lord's. And
Yeah.
You look at it every single day.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe that's something we begin diving into next week.
Tattoos or
The whole, whew, man, we could do that too. But identity,
Yeah.
maybe we walk a little bit deeper down that path because we're getting close to being out of time now.
oh, don't worry, I was taking notes as we were going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So I
love
think
it.
that's where we're gonna go next week. And here's how I want to close this up a little bit. Is we talked a little bit last week and about how our seasons may change, but God remains. Right. That was a Carly quote. That'd be a good shirt. I'm not going to not give you credit for that.
I
That was
appreciate
too
it.
good.
I mean, you should have
right?
took it though.
You must be a professional pastor or something, right? Our seasons change, but God remains,
Yeah.
right? And the easiest thing to do, I think, when seasons change is to focus on your seasons and
Yeah.
focus on your circumstances, right? Oh, my job changed, and even whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? So let's say you get a new job, you get a promotion, you could focus on like, oh man, I got so much more responsibility now. I got
Yeah.
more money, I got more time off, I got all these things. Those are great things. But here's the reality, right? Those are not the things that are going to change your life the most.
Right.
Right. That's not the purpose of that season, right? That's a nice perk, right? But there is a greater purpose in those seasons, right? In the same way that when we go through bad seasons, right, there's purpose and there's going to be value in those negative seasons, right? There's going to be value in those good seasons, right? So the easiest thing to do is for us to focus on those circumstances, right? The good or the bad things, and focus on the changes. What I think is harder and more important for us to do is focus on asking the question, what is God wanting to do in me in this season?
Yeah.
Right? Because God can take those bad things that happen in us and he's going to make us more like him. He's going to grow us through that,
Yep.
right? In the same way, he can take those good seasons and grow us through those as well,
Yeah.
right? And I think everybody always stops and thinks like, oh, God grows you really good through those difficult circumstances. Well, how much more could he grow you through those good circumstances if
Yeah.
you take your focus off of the good things that are happening, right? And focus on the good things that God wants to do in us in those circumstances. It brought this verse to my mind when I was thinking about this morning. Romans 8:28. We touched on this a little bit last week, but
Yeah.
I want to read this. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose.
Yep.
Right? So in there, it doesn't say in good circumstances, in bad seasons. Doesn't say any of that. All things.
Yeah.
That's good seasons, bad seasons, right? Job, no job, marriage, no marriage, whatever it is. God is working behind the scenes in a lot of cases, right? Sometimes right out front and we don't even notice it, right? But God is working for good. So wherever you're at, whatever season you're in, whatever's going on in your life, I want to encourage you. Take your eyes off of your circumstances, whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
Put your eyes on Jesus. We keep coming back to this Hebrews verse, right? Dustin hit on it. You hit on it. Pastor hit on it a little bit. We keep coming back to that. Something might be going on. But fix your eyes on Jesus, right? The author and finisher of our faith. Hebrews 13:8, we hit on this last week too. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever, right? So our circumstances may change. Our seasons may change. But Jesus remains.
Yeah, I heard this on the Message radio, and we've all heard this thought before. But I was listening to the Message on the way here this morning, and the lady, I can't remember her name, she said the God of the mountain is the God of the valleys, and we've heard that, but it is, man, that is so true. He's God when you're at the top.
Yeah,
he's still God when you're at the bottom. It's just a matter of, do you see him? Do you feel his presence there?
Yeah.
So he's your God on the top. Honor him. Ask him what he's doing. And in those seasons where you end up at the bottom, God, what are you trying to show me?
Yeah.
God, how can I find you here? Those are important in your seasons that you go through.
Yeah. Well, that's week 2 of seasons. That was good. That's good discussion, man.
That's
And we
season 2.
figured out what we're going to talk about next week, and so you got a little preview of next week. So don't miss next week. Before we get to next week, I meant to say something about this at the top. Our it's like fourth week of fourth experience of Off the Mountain, or 4th or 5th. We've been doing it a lot. I can't remember.
Maybe it's more than that now.
We've been going off the mountain a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
Month since February.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been going off the mountain. We're going off the mountain I guess there's some folks going tonight, right?
Oh yeah, okay. Off the mountain. I'm thinking of midweek undivided.
Oh,
See,
yeah,
we
yeah.
have so many
I mean,
things
that's off
now.
the mountain too.
It is, yeah. Off the mountain. This is our 4th or 5th. You're right. And yes, we're going to the Go Center tonight, and also on Saturday. So there's still time to sign up if you'd like to do that. It'll be in the e-news tomorrow, but it's also on social media and on Parkway Off the Mountain.
Yeah.
What is it? ParkwayRoanoke.com.
Yeah, parkwayroanoke.com/off the mountain.
Yep.
Off the mountain. Yeah.
I'm about to put it in the chat. And so my family will be there. So
that's right.
I'm bringing all of
Whole
the
crew.
boys. We're bringing all. Courtney and I are talking about it. Like, do you think it'd be all right if we take Christian? Like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. There'll be something for him to do. If nothing else,
If nothing else, somebody will think he's cute.
Yeah, exactly. Well, most
Everybody
people
will.
he usually does.
Right.
He's at that point where he knows he's cute too.
Oh,
He
yeah.
does that. So, make sure you join us for Parkway Off the Mountain. We'll be helping out the Go Center. I'm looking forward to it because we were there.
man.
I mean, not quite a year ago. I mean,
Yeah.
was it?
And that was for Midweek Undivided.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
for Midweek Undivided.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot has changed. It looks
Oh,
amazing over
I
there.
can't wait to
was
go
there
check
this
Is the
morning.
coffee shop open
So
yet?
cool. Not yet, but the
Okay.
space is incredible.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to that. So
it's gonna be great.
we'll get some. We'll probably get some footage, and maybe we'll throw some of that
yeah,
out there.
that'd be great.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a little bit. So
Yeah.
make sure you're a part of that. You can go sign up, parkwayroanoke.com/off the mountain. If I can bring my 5-year-old, you can at least sit at home and pray. So,
Yeah, there you go.
There's definitely a way for you to
There
be
you go.
involved and help. So, hey, again, we're glad that you joined us for another episode of Midweek Motivation. Hope this is beneficial to you. If it's beneficial to you, it's going to be beneficial and encouraging to somebody else. So I'd love for you to share this. If you're not already in our group, you can text the word motivate to 540-900-3838. That'll put you on our our group. I think more often, I think we get encouraging texts from people more than like we give encouragement to people. So selfishly, I'm just going to keep taking that. That's okay with me. So,
That's
but
why
hey,
we do this.
right,
To
exactly.
encourage ourselves.
Right? It's cheaper than therapy. So, but hey, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great week and stay motivated.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week.